Hi guys, we are Tactical Brothers members. I'm here with Marin and Felix. Hello Marin.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi Felix. We are going to present to you Capablanca's game. We know the name of our club is Tactical Brothers and the YouTube channel as well. But we are going to show a strategical masterpiece because strategy is always close to tactics. So and no one better than Capablanca to teach this to us. So let's start. If Marin or Felix have some questions they are going to ask, it's going to be a live lesson. Okay, so let's begin. The game is started the classical way, 45, knight f3, knight c6. It was a game between Capablanca and William Winter, one of the best English players at the time. It was in 1919, so a bit more than a century ago. Our night's opening. We are not going to focus on the opening, right? So the real game starts on move 12. Only to say right now, Capablanca has this pawn structure that's not so great because of the double pawns, but at the same time, it's not so bad as well because it controls important squares. For instance, d5 and b5 as well, and the d6 square, the b6. This is a bad pawn structure for the end games because it would be hard to make a passless pawn against this more fluid pawn structure. But right at the moment we are the middle game, and we have the bishop pair as well. The bishop pair compensates this pawn structure problem. So bishop d6, defending the a5 pawn and preserving the bishops. Notice that Capablanca could play the bishop takes c3 and made the position very symmetrical, but he prefers to defend the pawn. He could damage his opponent's pawn structure as well, but he preferred to preserve the bishop pair. Bishop d5, h6. The bishop has to define a way now. And here Winter made a mistake that is not very perceptible. Well, he made a natural move. He made bishop h4, trying to preserve his bishop and made the containing the pin. What he didn't expect was that Capablanca would play. He played first c5, controlling the center. Then knight d5, exploring the pin, and now d5 is a very strong move. This move exclaims. What do you think about this move, guys? d5.
Yeah, I think it's like it's weakening the king position, but after the bishop g3, the bishop is completely lock. The bishop will not move all the game, and it's just a big pawn.
Yes, exactly. At the moment, it really looks like at first glance a weakening at the king side, and our king is going to be exposed, and we are going to hesitate to do a moving like that. So you have to be very concrete to justify making this move, right? Because the pawns, it's obvious to say, but the pawns, unlike the pieces, they can move back. So when you move a pawn, it's always critical, you know? You have always to judge this, because it changes the nature of the position. So here Capablanca judges that the bishop on g3 would be inactive, and we are going to see that more clearly in some moves. So Winter first take, knight takes f6 because the bishop g3, knight takes d5 simply.
Wait, one question. What other options did he have besides g5? After, right here, what else could he play? Because he otherwise he can take
threatening. Yes, here he's threatening to take on f6, and if you move the bishop back for protecting against the pin. Knight takes d5, the a5 pawn is hanging.
Yeah.
So he don't have much this option. But the thing is that he had to see this when he played c5.
Yeah.
Because he's weakened the d5 square. That's the point. So after knight d5, he don't have much options. d5 is kind of forced. But he had to see this to play the move c5 and exerts more control on d4 and weakens this g5 point and so permits allow this knight d5 move.
Yeah, so you had to calculate knight d5 and then g5.
Yes, and evaluate the position strategically, right? Because his king would be weakened, and what is better, to weaken the king side pawn structure? Is this really a weakness, or is just a visual weakness, right? Because concretely, if black can't exploit it, it's not a weaken.
Yeah.
Do you agree? So you have to have a lot of positional understanding to allow this. So knight d5, d5, takes f6, queen takes f6, bishop g3. I want you guys to pause the video for a second and think which move would you make if you were black right here, and try to think on a plan and how to proceed. I hope you have paused the video. So bishop d4 is the strongest move right here. Black threatening bishop takes f3 simply, and as you can see, the pawns will be double here on that file, and this bishop would have problems to get out of the chain he's in, as Marin said before. So h3, bishop takes f3, queen takes, and we reach the end game. And as you can see, we actually have a bad bishop and he has a good one. But this is only visually, right? And conceptually. Because thinking concretely is the opposite. It's just the opposite. His bishop is hitting something that he can't really get. The a5 pawn is well protected. Is there no way to get out of here? He would have to play something like f4, sacrificing the pawn, and then maneuver his bishop to h2 and king d2 and bishop d1 and f3, and bishop now is alive, but he would sacrifice a pawn and lose a lot of tempos doing that. So right now, black is like up a piece. The question is, can Capablanca make use of this extra piece or not? Or he will allow his bishop to become a big pawn as winter? I guess Capablanca has enough technique to don't allow this. But what do you guys think about the position?
Yeah, as you pointed out, White's bishop has nowhere to go, so it's pretty much just a big pawn, and therefore Black is very happy in this position and just has to coordinate the pieces and get his bishop out of his own chain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Okay, so both agree. Capablanca continued with f6. When you have a solid position like this, guys, there is no need to hurry. Okay, you can just slowly improve your position. Your opponents don't have an active counterplay, so you don't have to have you don't need to have a hurry. This type of positions, they have a statical nature, not a dynamical one. So it's easy to you can slowly maneuver and improve your position move by move, and your opponent even weakens his position. You know, he gets desperate and try something crazy, and sometimes it's a blunder, and it makes it even easier your work. Okay, so f6, and then king g2. There is not much white can do here. a5, a4, king f7, rook h1, trying to open the 8 file, but it wouldn't generate any counterplay. 8-4, rook fb8. Capablanca intends to play a timely b5 right now and open lines on the queen side. He sees that this pawn can black can't attack it, even if white can't attack it, even if it opens the 8-5. So he retakes. So we reached another critical moment here. It's black to play, and how would you continue here? Take a minute and think. Please make a plan, evaluate the position, the pawn structure, the piece activity, and the result position of your variation. How would you proceed here? I hope you have paused the video. The best continuation here is c6. That is a strong move. The problem with the immediately b5 is that white simply takes, and rook takes b5. Now, how you make progress with black? Do you guys have an idea?
If you don't play, if you have this position,
Yes.
maybe rook b4 and then trying to go for a4.
Yeah, it's a try, right? But white won't allow this. You'll play rook a4. And then if you play rook b4, rook a2, a1. Now, what do you think?
And now it's probably just a draw, because you can't make any progress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And,
That's why you need
we
c4,
got
c6.
we got the same problem as Winter, right?
Yeah.
Our bishop become a big
useless.
pawn as well. Yes. So you have to take all the care in the world when you are playing. That's why the rule to not hurry is important. Take your time and pay much attention to the pawn moves. As a pawn, as I said before, don't come back. C6 is critical. Then he can retake with the c pawn, and this structure after b5 will be black can mobilize this structure. It will be fluid, you know. Black would have play on the light squares as well, not only the dark squares, and the c4 break is possible as well. And black has nothing to fear because it has a piece more, practically speaking, right?
Yeah.
And you see how this bishop is not useful, right? He's here the whole game and made nothing. So rook a2, b5 came, rook a8 a1, and now I want you to pause the video again and think how would you continue. We have achieved some momentum, right, to manage to do b5 with the c6 pawn. At the same time, you have to be precise. For instance, a move like b4 could be a mistake here. Could you guys tell me why?
Because it fixed the position and will be no progress there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just closes the pawn structure and your bishop can't move anywhere.
Exactly, and we would have to try to move something, play c4, and this is not what we want, right?
Yes.
So right here, Capablanca obviously realized this long time ago, and he played c4, breaking through. White played a takes b5, and Capablanca was precise again. He played c takes b3. And if you rook a5, simply rook takes a5, rook takes a5, and c takes b2, and or b2 is even more precise. If rook takes a5, rook takes a5, b2 is winning because there is no way to stop the pawn. So here Winter was first to take, c takes b3. Capablanca took with the rook. Now it's different because he's defending the a5 pawn, but the b3 pawn was weak. The bishop is active. Suddenly our bishop who was bad, it was bad, but then now it gains life, right? It's on a wonderful diagonal f8, h6, f8, e3. So it can defend the pawn with bishop before. it can do a lot of things here. And white's weak pawns are going to fall. One of our 2 pawns on c6 or a5 are going to promote here with time. You just have to be patient here. So rook a4, and now white is just holding on, trying to exchange pieces. If white manages to exchange the g3 and b3 pawns for the c6 and a5 pawns, a5 pawn, it would be a draw. He would manage to draw. But the problem is activating it. So Capablanca capture, rook takes b3, d4. If rook takes a5, simply rook takes a5, rook takes a5, and rook takes g3. And black is up on up, the c6 pawn is going to promote. There is no way to stop it. The bishop is supporting the advance, has the rook. And the white's bishop is still out of play. And the black would be material WAP, right? So Winter tried something tricky here at far move, trying to achieve his bishop in a ways, but Capablanca simply played rook b5, keeping the lock on the bishop. If d takes d5, he will capture with the pawn, and the bishop is still locked here. So rook c4, getting the c6 pawn. He's still relying on some e takes d4, rook takes c6 is a threat, right? And the bishop is in.
Yeah.
So Capablanca played rook b4, a very strong move. Rook takes c6, rook takes d4. And here, white simply resign because he's a pawn down and he knows that this pawn is going to reach a3. And there is no way to stop it. He's going to lose on the long run. So he simply resign. So this was the strategical game from Capablanca. He was a marvelous player. He could play every style, but he preferred always to simplify things. Why to make something simple difficult, right? And going through Capablanca's games, you have the impression that is everything so simple and you can do this also, but it's not that way, right? Firstly, because nowadays people know how to defend better, know the theory better, and the defense technique has improved a lot. Second, because if you have to be very good at something to make this simple, right? It's like a professor that is explaining something to the students and make something difficult look simple. You have to have a lot of knowledge about this. And Capablanca had a great natural talent. Any question, guys?
No?
No.
So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.
Okay, see you guys.